So, hi, my name is Jonas. I have this channel called Sublime Media, and I talk about vinyl records. If you like this video after you've seen it, I urge everyone to subscribe, obviously, because if you do, it helps me sort of grow my channel even more, and I would really appreciate it. So I've grown a pretty good base of conversations now. In my opinion, I think so. It's mostly artists, but also record collectors and authors and label owners and stuff like that. So I sat down and I thought, what do I want? What kind of conversation do I want to have next? And I started to think in sort of meta terms, like it would be cool to talk with someone who's on YouTube and have a very successful sort of account in this sort of vinyl community of ours. And immediately I thought about Dereck, because me and Dereck, we go back 12 years, I think, something like that, 11, 12 years. We have talked on Messenger and obviously in the comments field and on Facebook and stuff like that. But we've never talked face to face, sort of FaceTimed, and definitely not in real life. Dereck lives in Omaha, Nebraska. I live in Sweden. But there's always been sort of a friendship and a bond, and we talk about this also in the conversation. So it's awesome to have not only a sort of YouTube content creator, big YouTube content creator, but also Dereck's an artist. He has worked in mental health. He's been in several legendary bands. So we'll get into that also. And he is a huge record collector. A huge record collector. So we get the opportunity to nerd out a little bit. So without further ado, this is my conversation with none other than the legendary Dereck. Enjoy.
Look at this. We have matching walls behind us.
Yeah. Best sort of background you can have.
Well, Jonas, I remember at the beginning of this, you didn't have that many records, did you?
No, I had, when I started doing videos and joining sort of YouTube or doing my YouTube channel, I had maybe 700 records, something like that. And today it's about 2,500, 2,700, maybe something like that. But I've had 2,500 records for the last 6-7 years, but that doesn't mean I don't get new records. It's just like, in my opinion, this is a living, breathing thing. Like,
yes,
I have a few records that I'm sort of dead set on I would never sell or trade or something like that. But to me, I have to, like, if I buy a record for $200, like I don't have $200 to put on a record, but I have like 10 Bob Dylan records that maybe I don't listen to that often, and I can sell them, buy this sort of rare Swedish prog record or whatever. So that's a little bit of my philosophy.
Sounds good to me.
I'm thinking of, like, if anyone's watching this, they know who you are. I mean, that's obvious. But if anyone at any time stumble upon this and don't know who Dereck Higgins is, if you just briefly tell the ones watching who is Dereck Higgins, just briefly.
Well,
come back to the career and music and stuff like that.
Well, sure, yeah. I'm from Omaha, Nebraska originally, still live here. I come from a musical family, and both of my parents were musicians, and so my love of music goes back to birth. And because of my age, records and radio was the main medium, and so I was fascinated with records as a little boy, listening to music and watching it spin. And then when the Beatles happened, those are some really important things that kind of just shaped why records, music, making music is just a simple part of my life, Yeah.
And you have you're a musician, and you have some records behind you also. Like, it was Digital Sex, the first sort of vinyl product that you released?
Well, no, actually, and I can grab it. It's not that far. Thanks for asking. You know, my first band that put out any vinyl was a band called Norman and the Rockwells, and this was back at the beginning of the 80s. So, like, there is
Nice.
that's the test pressing. Actually, I'm trying to find the oh, here we go. Because yeah, and so this was my very first record.
Yeah.
This was
I've seen that. You've shown that a million times, I guess.
You bet. 1981. 1981. And then Digital Sex was in 1983. But Jonas, before that, and these are pretty collectible, I put out a couple of EPs of my own. You've seen these, right? One and two.
Yes.
These are collectible. Like, for example, Philip Glass has a copy, Todd Rundgren and Jello Biafra. They have copies.
Oh.
Yeah. It's
cool.
Yeah, and this one, matter of fact, this is the one that Jello Biafra got after me. He says, I want to get a copy of that. Yeah, and so
that's
so
awesome.
we did a trade actually when I met up with him. So there's a little bit of history for you, Jonas.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, you spend your life in music, haven't you? Like, really?
For the most part. Yeah. I mean, my career that I'm retired from I was a mental health specialist. I worked in, the psychiatry. That's, so that's a whole nother story, but it's really intertwined with the music. Totally. It really is.
I can figure, but I mean, you didn't stop go to concerts and collect records and stuff like that during the time you worked in mental health. I guess you kept on having music as your main sort of hobby or interest.
Oh, yes, but it also bled into my work. I helped with doing music therapy, even though I'm not a therapist, but, as a community service worker with adults in a day program sort of situation, I helped to develop curriculum for using music in a therapeutic way. So it's been involved in my work as well. Yeah.
Okay.
And you just got home. Did you just get home from work?
No, it's 8 o'clock here. I finished at 5, but I have a 30-minute drive. I've moved. When I started the channel, I lived in a 2-room apartment, and now I'm married, have a kid on half-time, and we bought this house. So this is actually the basement where I have my records and stuff like that. I have a very understanding wife. I think that's the word for it. We actually had. I was double booked because we had once a year we have a meeting with my neighbors about the road. We discuss the road, so it's like if we need to patch the road, and it's the only time we meet. I mean, I'm Swedish, so we don't go talk over the fence or anything like that. We keep to ourselves. But once a year we meet up with the neighbors.
Okay.
So that's what I came from. But I was thinking, like, if we could talk a little bit about your YouTube platform. I thought of maybe that would be a kind of cool conversation. And anytime you feel like I'm asking something that you're not comfortable with, just tell me, and we'll go to another.
Well, Jonas, let me clear the air right now. I think I'm unusual to most people. You can ask me anything.
Yeah. Okay.
You really can.
Yeah.
You really
can. And I will. In that case. But so you sort of you found your platform on YouTube. Now, how did you and why did you sort of start your channel to begin with?
Well, to begin with, in exploring YouTube maybe 12, 13 years ago, I was just like finding out about it, okay?
Yeah.
And, in order to use it, you establish your own account. And so I saw that, well, shoot, I can upload videos. So the first thing I did was upload some really primitive music videos, actually, just me, things that I would make for my own pleasure. But then as I started to look around on YouTube, I discovered that, looking up the word record collections, I discovered there was people talking about their records. I can't remember the first guy's name. He's been long gone. Um, but it was something as simple as a record collector. And then I found Mr. Hall of Fame. Remember him?
Yeah. Me too. That's my entry drug was Mr. Hall of Fame.
Those were mine too. Him and this other guy. And I said, wow, people are talking about the records. I want to do that. So my first videos, I didn't show my face. I just showed the records. And I got the guts to go on camera by watching Mr. Hall of Fame. And I said, well, wow, there's another black guy. Just be real honest. There's another black guy doing this. So I'm going to go for it,
Yeah. Never thought about that actually, because Brandon, Mr. Hall of Fame, I don't really think in sort of terms of color, but obviously that is a thing to sort of to be able to, or dare to show your face instead of just showing the records, because that's also, I mean, the eyes and the face is the way to connect. I think that's one of the key things in this sort of vinyl community, that we actually show our face and show who we are, and also the records. Like,
absolutely, it's a wonderful thing. And another thing to share is that I'm glad that you said to yourself, you don't think about color. And that's why I bring it up so much throughout the years, because I want people to understand that racism is something that I deal with on a regular basis. And if you don't have the experience from being a different color, some people really don't understand. And so I'll put it in their face all the time. You know what I mean? It's like,
definitely.
Yeah.
And
so,
and you it feels like when we started, we showed records, but you pretty fast you went into a sort of almost like a political agenda in a way. And I've written here in my notes that you are sort of preaching the gospel of music, and also your political standpoint. But did you have any sort of platform or forum that you could ventilate your opinions before the YouTube platform?
Well, to me, everything is on a continuum, Jonas. I'm so glad we're having this conversation, because I come from a background of religion and spirituality, and philosophy being weaved into everything I do.
Yeah.
And so my whole stance is a concern as a human being. I know that it comes out political because I talk about, things, but my stance is actually, and I'm always trying to clarify this, is that when I speak about things political, it's not that I'm being left or right. I'm being perceived as such. There's nothing I can do about that. It's part of my nature to express concern about people and the world, because I care. It's just, I'm an old hippie, I mean, really.
Definitely. Yeah,
and
definitely.
So again, to me, speaking my mind, I do it everywhere.
I mean, I think that I have strong opinions also, but I don't put them on my channel. But so we all have a choice, and I think that's so brave of you to actually have it as a main part of the sort of channel. Do you feel like the because it feels like you have an agenda. Do you have an agenda with your platform and channel?
No, I thank you for asking, because I actually just answered your question.
Yeah.
I'm merely expressing my concerns as a human being, because they're on my mind. It's like, I'm not like, for example, the sort of person who is like really focused on, like, say, for example, organized sports.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of folks who, they work, they have their family, they do things, but then when you ask them what they're really thinking about and what they're interested in, it doesn't go beyond their hobbies, their interests like sports and stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or even record collecting. But it's my nature since childhood to really want to understand what's really going on in the world. Part of it is because of racism. It's like, you know, as a little boy, I didn't understand I'm a human being. Why are people calling me a monkey? Why am I not treated
Yeah.
correctly? So there is no agenda other than expressing genuine concern.
Yeah.
And it is frustrating to me as a public person that, you know, you deal with people's perception. People see you, they hear you, and they decide this is what I think about you. And so people think I have an agenda, but the agenda is just caring. That's
Yeah.
it, plain and simple.
Being yourself.
Very simple.
It feels like you have a sort of a the format is a vlog kind of thing. You tell like I watched your video from yesterday, and you are talking about what day it is and what you are going to do today and what is coming up, and you show records also, and you talk about music, and I love it. It's sort of it's a diary sort of format.
Yes, and I say that it's like a diary for me. And if you never saw it, I've said this a few videos ago. When I was a little boy, I fantasized about being able to do something like this, have my own TV show, or like, because I'm a child of the 60s. So I can remember sitting in class, bored out of my mind, looking at the textbook, and then imagining, well, what if the picture could come to life and start moving from the point that I'm seeing? And we're living in that reality now.
Yeah.
And so this is just me taking advantage of the technology. You know, it's like, and I know it's risky too, because I deal with trolls all the time.
Yeah, I thought of talking about that a little bit later, if that's okay with you. But I mean, 30,600 subscribers today, and countless hours of content, and endless hours that people have been watching, and maybe more importantly, listening to you and your thoughts and what you are doing. How do you relate to that? Like what does that mean to you? Do you feel responsible?
Well, I'll answer it like this, because the responsibility I feel is to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's as far as I can go, because I have no control over how people receive me.
No.
I have responsibility to be honest in what I put out.
Yeah.
I'm not concerned about self-censoring, because that's up to the viewer. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying anything inflammatory in nature. It can be taken that way because there's all kinds of people, you know what I'm saying? So what was the question again?
No, but 30,600 subscribers.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
I think that you also have that because of your honesty.
Yeah,
so you are
absolutely.
True, and people like that and want to watch that.
Yes, it's been a natural continuation where I'm always showing records, but I'm talking about people and about life.
Yeah.
Just recently, a guy named Bill I've never met, who is a regular watcher, shares that he's working on sobriety. That's beautiful that he feels, you know, that, and it's not an interference with my doing my stuff. It's just part of the flow, that this is where people come and they feel loved and accepted. I love it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, maybe you already answered this, but what is most fun to talk about? Is it your day-to-day life? Is it music? Is it family? Is there something that you sort of that your heart beats a little bit more to when it comes to YouTube channel?
The records.
The records. The answer is behind us.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's, again, also why people really like to hear me talk about music, because when I really like something, it comes through the vibe. You know, I can't help it. Now, I want to also compliment you. I don't watch a lot of videos over the years, but I'll come back and you're one of the people that I'll watch. And over the years, I've seen the same thing about you, Jonas, that we're getting the real you and your excitement about music. Like a recent collection that you bought was just jaw-dropping, the stuff that you got. My God.
I'm still pinching myself. Like I can't understand it. I actually went down because we have the bedroom is upstairs, and I went down the day after because I thought that I had dreamt it all. So I had to go down and check so the crates were still there. I thought I had dreamt it. It's insane.
It is insane.
It was crazy.
You have records that I have never seen in real life.
Yeah.
I can't think of a couple of the covers where they're like, man, I've never seen a real copy, and you got one now. So, wow,
that was. It is awesome. Like really, I have cleaned maybe half of it and played maybe 5%. I mean,
that's so much fun, isn't it? That's so much fun, isn't it?
It's every day. It's like Christmas.
Yeah, man.
And it's gonna be like that for months. Like it's.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. I just have a Coke. So. But there's something called the vinyl community. Do you think that, or do you feel like you are a part of the vinyl community?
I still do, because in essence, the vinyl community is something that you claim. There are really no rules. No one really started it. We just started to call it that. I don't even know who first coined the term. I don't know.
I think my guess is that Brandon, Mr. Hall of Fame, was one of the guys who started to talk about this sort of community of guys showing their faces and showing records from the start. Yeah.
So I feel like this about the community, the way I feel about my community here, is that even though I have a lot of love, I always feel like an outsider, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
And so it's like the way that I run my channel, I've gotten a lot of complaints. Just talk about records. Man, fuck y'all. I'm talking about what the fuck I want, you know? And so if that puts me on the outs with the so-called community, you know, and see, I just don't accept that, because the community is up to the individual. Yeah. So I'm a member of the vinyl community.
Yeah,
I am.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going like through different periods where I feel like I am part of it. I think that because I've never stopped producing or content for my channel, so that doesn't change everything. But I have periods where I don't watch as much. And absolutely, I don't have time but I don't comment. So I'm not leaving any proof behind that I've actually watched. So I feel guilty for not watching. And then if I'm not watching, I'm not part of the community, if you know what I mean.
Well, I used to have that sort of feeling, Jonas, okay?
Yeah, okay.
And I've gotten past that because I don't want to feel obligated.
Yeah.
So I watch when I want to.
Yep.
Like I haven't caught up with Fred, Big Star. I understand he's back on.
Yeah, not me neither.
Okay, so, but I don't feel guilty about it, except I just keep thinking, well, I'm out to check in with him sometime. The way that I resolve this issue of guilt, not guilt watching folks is there is a continuous loop of communication with people within the community and outside of it through my videos. And when people prompt me, hey, I talked about so-and-so, you ought to check me out, I'll go ahead and watch, and I'll usually leave a comment, you know what I'm saying? But I'm past the point of feeling obligated. Don't need to feel obligated, Jonas.
No, I don't feel obligated as well. And I was on I don't know if you have seen Rachel's Ghost. She does a live. It's a chick from Canada. She does a live show 3 hours every day. I think it's 5 or 6 days a week. She invites people to talk.
I've heard of her. I've watched a little bit of her content, not much.
Yeah,
I have actually watched.
Great. The amount of work she plows down into this is just insane. I mean, imagine this 3 hours a day running a live show with 6 different people on. It's just insane. But I was up there and I talked about, and I got the sort of the question about the new vinyl community and the old vinyl community, and I went apeshit bananas, because there is no, like, sort of, to me at least, it's not a vinyl community of old or new. It's just people showing records on YouTube.
Right. It's these perceptions.
Yeah,
it's perceptions, you know, and it's like everyone has their own perception. So, like, for example, we've been here for quite a while.
Yeah.
And so then I guess there's folks who haven't been here for as long. And so they have this perception that there's a new breed. It's just all in the head. You know, I talk about this all the time, really, that reality is perception. It's what we think it is. You know, it's all it is. Nobody really knows. So if y'all want to think it's new, then that's what you say. But it's just like you said, people showing records.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. Before we continue talking about what we love, which is records, the backside of YouTube, like you were there. It's like trolls, racism, the comments. How, with 30,600 subscribers and so many videos, I guess you have 1 or 2 trolls during the years. So how do you sort of cope with it? Do you have a...
It's been a deal. It's been a life-changing experience, because when I first dealt with trolls years ago, it was new to me and it caught me off guard, and I took it personally at first, like anyone would, even though, you know, with my background in psychology, you know, I have this knowledge where I try to use, you know, regarding human psychology and behavior. So it's evolved, you know. The thing that I understand, and I'll put out here, that I think the reason why I have such a nest of just a couple of dedicated haters has to do with when I lost my teeth, and some people in Omaha thought they would try to help me get this taken care of by starting a GoFundMe for my teeth. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Remember that? So the deal is, we raised a certain amount of money, and I went to dentists, but all they could do with the money is put me on medication. I couldn't get anything started. So anyway, these people just decided that I had falsely started the GoFundMe to scam money for records.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay.
So that, I think, has a lot to do with, and it's also been because I actually had to block people from my email, these strangers, and the racists. They were just calling me the N-word, you know, and we're going to get that no good, you know what I'm saying? And the nature of the continuous, trolling is of a racist nature, in that now the whole bent is that I'm a narcissist, which of course I'm not, but it's the whole idea of racist white people not being happy with a black person who has self-esteem. And here I am doing my thing, being effective at it, growing in popularity, obviously doing something good, but we have these people with bad intentions. And I think, like I said, it goes back to that, where they decided, oh, we done found a no good nigga, we're gonna get that. And it's been like that ever since. And so if you watch my videos, I try to ignore it. I block and delete all the time, because these folks will start a new account and it's completely anonymous, just to badger me, and I just delete it. So there's a couple ways that I deal with this. Thanks for asking, because this hopefully will help. It's obvious to me that these people who are trolling me have never met me. If you spent any time with me in person, or even like this, us talking, we're connecting as humans, aren't we, Jonas?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Even though we've never really met,
no,
I can call you a friend, can't I?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
And so the people who are at me are showing their ass. They're showing me something about them. They don't know me.
No.
If they ever met me, we could settle whatever this madness is in their minds. And one of the things that I think to myself, well, if we met, what do you want to start a fight with me? What's the deal? So I think I'm just, I think I'm a racist target. And so I just leave it at that because, and they try to gaslight. I'm so glad that I have a background in psychology because people are hurt by this sort of behavior and what people say. And I understand and not take it personally. It's not about me. It's about them.
Yeah.
It's about their perception, what they see, and I'm the target. And it really helps. It's annoying, that it continues. So that's the main thing. But I don't take that shit personally.
No, I mean, because I've seen you react to trolls during the years in videos, and that's also, I mean, it's emotions. We are only humans.
Yes, we are.
You have to, and you do this every day. So I think that's also one of the reasons why people keep watching your videos, because that's also part of what's you and true and real, like real.
And people learn from it. I'm sure people share that with me, that they get encouragement to be stronger in their own lives against people that try to upset their peace. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm spreading a good word.
I don't have the amount of views and viewers, so I don't have that many sort of negative comments, which I'm super glad, because it's I don't know how I would react, to be honest. But yesterday I put out a video on my the find of my July record. So in this big pile I found July. It's a rare record, so I did like a spotlighted video where I talk about the band. So I thought of like, this is not a very well-known band, so I'll talk about the band. I'll do some sort of good SEO, search engine optimization, so the band and the record gets spread as good as it could be. And I put down like cut it down to 20 minutes. Maybe I put down 6 or 8 hours to just prepare. And, and I do this video. The first comment I get is, I don't think that July is a rare record.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, say, what?
Exactly.
Like, how the fuck am I going to show any rarer than this? So
I know.
I'm sitting there with my phone like, fuck. And then I'm thinking like, well, yeah, maybe he doesn't think that it's a rare record. Like,
see, that's what I hate about the trolls, because that person knew exactly what to do to get that out of you. And isn't that a damn shame that someone thinks that little of themselves, that this is how they're going to get a self-gratification by fucking with you?
Maybe. But I wrote
maybe, come on.
But like, elaborate. Like I wrote to him like, okay, you know that it's a rare record, but please elaborate on that. Like, how can
what the hell are you talking about? I'm getting my copy here because I don't have an original. I got a damn original. This is just, you have an original now, right?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Get out of here.
It's
awesome. That is super rare.
Yeah, it's a rare one. And I think that
I'm a rare one
that have had 2 copies. This is my
second
copy of it.
So that was a dedicated asshole who knew.
Maybe.
And boy, you made his day. And isn't that a shame to be that low, that much of a low life? See, that's what keeps me from getting more mad, more irritated like you. It's like, you idiot, you motherfuckers.
I thought of, like, before continuing my questions, just you have to just
I'm having fun, Jonas,
or something.
I'm loving this. It's your channel. You stop when we're ready.
I just pulled some stuff that, like, from my collection that reminds me of you, or that is I mean, pure, like, write down recommendations from you. So I got them. I don't know where I'm gonna start, but let's start with this one. I think that this is the most Genesis to Revelation. This is the first press.
Yes.
With I remember back early, you showed this and you talked about it, and I actually think that I got a Dutch sort of reissue of it with a different cover or something like that, and I didn't like it at all. I've listened to Genesis, and I listened to Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, and Selling England by the Pound, but this I didn't like it. But now I love it.
Oh, it's just the best. That looks super clean.
Yeah,
that looks super clean.
This is also from that collection.
So that's like a $500 album right there.
Yeah. It's, I mean, I'm
amazing.
Myself. Again, it's an unboxed Decca first stereo press in fantastic condition.
Yeah, when I found my copy years ago, I found my copy in Kansas City. I couldn't believe what I was seeing it. I found it in a used bin in Kansas City. I couldn't believe it. It was less than $20. I couldn't believe it. And so when I got back to Omaha, double check. Then I'd wait a little while, check, look at the matrix, the dead wax.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Everything added up. Yeah. That's. I think that I read somewhere that when it came out, it didn't have the band name sort of on the cover. So people, and this is the first one. You don't have Foxtrot, you don't have Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, so you don't have any history. So when people got this in the record stores, they thought it was a Christian record.
Christian record.
Yeah,
exactly.
And it didn't sell. It didn't sell.
Yeah.
But I think that this is more in sort of the vein of early Bee Gees, or
you got it.
It's
well, that's what they said. They said they were trying to write songs for the Bee Gees, and they did a good job.
Yeah, definitely.
What else you got there? You got some gems. I know you do.
No. This is also one that you showed.
Oh, yes.
It's a like straight recommendation from you that I bought, and it's one of my favorite sort of.
Fantastic.
It's great. Film but it's going up a little bit in price, which means that I guess it means that people have discovered it, which I'm glad that they did.
Yeah, people are finally listening to it. All you got to do is listen to that album.
Yeah,
that album is fantastic.
Yeah, it blew me away the first time. It was almost like few records have, because I listen to a lot of music in my car. I have 35 minutes to go to work and back again, so I have like over an hour where I listen to music every single day. And the first time I heard that, when I saw your video, I sampled it like on Spotify or if it was on YouTube or something like that. I literally had to stop the car just to see how I could get my hands on it. And I think I bought it on eBay at a sort of parking lot at Walmart or something. I just, went to the side of the road. Fantastic. Yeah.
Great album.
I'd recommend it to all you watching.
Absolutely. Since then, I've found a promo single from the album.
Oh, nice. That's
nice.
Yeah. Cool. Another one before I start asking you questions again. I remember your video. This is some years now, and I remember your video with this, and it was really sort of I can't really remember what you said, but it's something with it just sort of hit a nerve with me. And talking about real again, but when Bowie released his last album, and then just, was it a week after that he passed away?
Yes, less than a week.
And people, I mean, the world just stopped, didn't it?
Yeah. It did.
It came from nowhere, like, and in your video, I remember you talked about the record, and you talked about Bowie and how much he, sort of how big part of your life that Bowie was.
Yeah. Push and pull, because when I discovered him as a teen, I was still wrestling with the whole sex thing, and there was that innuendo, the man who sold the world. The cover's like, what's going on here? I don't know if I'm cool with this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's been a growth process, and Bowie has just come to be one of the central. He's a very important artist in my life and in the history of Western music, it turns out.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I got to see him play live. So glad.
Oh, When did you see him?
It was his last tour. It was the very last tour he could
Last
do.
tour. Okay.
The very in 1990. Oh, 2004 or 6. It was the one where he had the heart attack.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Shit.
I saw that tour. Thank God. And that was it. That was it.
Yeah. This might be a question that is boundary of but I'm gonna ask it. Like,
yeah,
during the years, I've watched your videos, and and this is me. I've sort of got the feeling like you have struggled with your sexuality, maybe in
absolutely.
your youth. I don't know how it is now, but in your youth, not
Absolutely.
knowing where you are in your sexuality.
Yes.
I mean, you don't make it easy for yourself, do you? I mean, growing up as and not knowing your sexuality as a black youth or black man, listening to weird music like progressive music.
Right.
I mean, how was it growing up, and how did the community take it?
It was
Did
tough.
you have friends?
It was tough.
Yeah,
it was tough, to be honest. I've always had a few good close friends, but because I come from a family of 5 siblings, I'm the middle kid, 2 brothers and 2 sisters.
Yeah.
So, as a family, you're dealing not just with your own life, but your brothers and sisters around you and their friends and the community at large. Okay.
Yeah.
And so to try to encapsulate it, because I like these sort of questions. I was loved in the family by my parents and my siblings and extended family, but there was also abuse in there also, okay?
Yeah.
But in the larger sense, I need to explain that my parents started us out in a very mixed neighborhood here in Omaha, Nebraska, over in South Omaha. So that was on purpose, to expose us to the real American life, as opposed to starting out in the ghetto where all you see is ghetto life. Okay. So that has a lot to do with me assimilating white culture as my own so early on. Okay.
Yep.
So when we moved from that mixed neighborhood over into the predominantly black neighborhoods, I had to deal with, being assaulted physically, and things like that. And also regarding the sexuality, because of my nature of not being aggressive, I had to deal with that. You know what I mean? And it was very unpleasant, very unpleasant,
to say the least.
Very unpleasant. And
but did you have any peers that also listened to, Genesis or early Bee Gees and accepted you for who you were, or not accepted you for who you were, but
yes, that's a good question.
Like-minded.
Well, that's a good question. Well, before Genesis, going back into junior high school, one of my best friends was first cousins of Buddy Miles, who played with Jimi Hendrix.
Ah, okay.
So there was my ally.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you dig that to start with?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So then when I got into high school, as I went to an all-boys school, so John and I, that friend from grade school, we kind of drifted apart, and I aligned with a new set of, and I immediately aligned with folks like there's this one guy who started the band Buck Naked and the Barrel Bottom Boys. They become, but Phil, one day in English, we were supposed to bring a record to class. I brought Adam Heart and Mother by Pink Floyd.
Ah, cool.
And he brought Waka Jawaka by Frank Zappa. It was immediate bond. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Shit.
Okay. And then my senior year of high school, I met these kids who were Air Force brats who had just moved back to America from France. They turned me on to Genesis, and it was the same thing. I brought maybe a Uriah Heep album or something like that to class. And Paul, who I'd never met, he just immediately and then so I think I went home, to his house that day, And he and his brother blew my mind. They turned me on to Genesis, Faust, Pan. They're the ones that turned me on to that stuff. Okay. So yeah,
But
those are my
imagine
albums.
I mean, I see you like a very strong person, but imagine you not being that strong. Imagine you just letting go and taking up the culture that you were expected to, and the music and the scene that you were expected to listen to. You would probably be on a totally different place today. I mean, I'm just guessing, but it would be a totally different life.
Well, it's to my advantage that, as well as me absorbing all of this international stuff, that stuff that you just talked about, I was absorbing as well, because it was my culture.
Yeah, sure.
James Brown, The Moments, everything, Marvin Gaye, Let's Go Deeper, Syl Johnson. I mean, the blues. See, it's like, you know that I don't like to play the blues, but I had to learn how to play the blues. I had to learn, and I also lived it, you know, and experienced it through my parents and their lives and their jam sessions. You know, some of the most famous jazz and blues musicians in history have played at my house, and I was at their feet, you know. So I have that in my back pocket, you know. So this is definitely a choice. This is the world I want to live in, you know. But if anybody wants to talk about roots and shit, I can play the hell out of some damn blues. Seriously.
I imagine. I'm going back to the questions now. Went a little rogue.
This is fun. This is fun. I hope I'm.
Oh, I'm glad you like it. I try to with these. I don't call it interviews. Like when I send messages to the artist, like when I did it to Damo Suzuki, I called it an interview because that's the only thing that they can relate to. I feel like that anyway. Like I'm doing an interview. It's a sort of promotion for them, but I call them conversations because
we're hanging
I
out.
don't want to be silent. I want to talk too.
Oh yeah, this is great. This is great to spend some time with you, Jonas. You know.
Yeah. And people have said that when they are watching the conversation, it feels like they are sitting in and sitting in the sort of living room and listening to it. So that's what I'm sort of striving for.
You got it. You got it.
Let's see here.
Good questions. Good questions.
Oh, thank you. Like you said very early in the conversation that you was brought up with the medium vinyl and collecting vinyl. What is the format giving you that other formats and streaming platforms don't give you? Like, why still vinyl? I know the answer. I know what I would ask, but
well, it's tactile. Number one, it's tactile.
Yeah,
it's interactive.
Yes,
it is. When you play a record, in order to hear the music, you have to interact with the medium before anything happens. Much different than dialing up a playlist on the phone. I mean, it's like that happens so quickly, and it's like it's really impersonal. When you get a record, like for example, I just bought this today, the Light Energy and Space Energy and Light. It's a 3-record set of electronic pioneers.
Cool.
I just popped this on today, and it's totally different than when I sampled it online, deciding whether or not I was going to buy it. Okay. It's just it's a total experience. And then I love the way that we have the different colored vinyl, because that's fun too. You know what I mean? So and the art, you know, I still have a lot of CDs. I don't buy a lot of CDs. I get them to review, you know, that's how I keep acquiring CDs, but I don't buy them because I like this full-size art deal. I love it.
I agree. I totally agree. I think that it also demands something of me. Like streaming a song doesn't demand much from me, but me taking out the vinyl, looking at it, putting it on the turntable, playing the entire side, going to the turntable, flipping it over, you know, it demands something to me. And I feel like that is also giving me something more than a CD or a streaming or something like that.
Totally. So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So in your experience as a parent so far, does your child take any interest, or how do they perceive records? Not at all,
Oh,
huh?
no, my daughter is 8 years, going on 9, and no, she doesn't have any sort of interest in records. And I try to talk to her, but she is the sort of the TikTok generation. So
Okay,
for her,
okay.
music is something that is on TikTok. She can
Hmm.
talk about a song as a
Hmm.
TikTok song, but it's Ed
Hmm.
Sheeran or whatever. I don't know.
Gotcha.
And for
Yep.
her also, my record collection is just in the way for her to play with me and
Yes,
have
yes.
time with me. So
Yep,
I think
yep.
that, and we build up this culture in our house where the records, when we talk about the records, that
Mhm.
my like dad's records, we talk about it in a sort of a negative term, like it's just in a way. But I feel like I was 10 years old when I really started to get an interest in my dad's
Mhm, mhm.
music, and
Yeah.
I borrowed his guitar and I started to
Mhm,
learn some
mhm,
chords.
mhm.
So I'm thinking like, yeah, I'll give her the time.
Yeah,
When
give her some
she's
time.
ready, we can
Yeah,
sit down and we can start listening to whatever she wants to listen to.
yeah, give her some time. Very
Yeah,
cool.
definitely. I mean, and I won't force anything. I have a lot of friends, like when we have some friends that just moved here
Mhm,
a couple of years ago. Like, so we are almost neighbors. It
mhm,
takes 5 minutes to bicycle here,
mhm.
and he's very interested in music also. And in my mind, I was sort of like super excited that they were moving here because we could sit and listen to the records, and I could
Yeah,
play records for him. And so, and we have had like one of those sessions too. It's just like, I don't know. I don't know if I demand too much, or sort of my interest is in records is so huge that no one can
yeah.
take part of it.
You need to be my neighbor. You need to be my neighbor.
Yeah, yeah. Your neighbor is uh, yeah, in a world of his own. I guess he's
Yeah,
blasting.
yeah.
He's
So are
blasting.
those your Impulse albums behind you? All the Impulse right there?
Yeah, I have
Yep,
Impulse there, and
yep.
then there's Blue Note, the rest there. Uh, to be fair, from here to this, there's
Hmm.
only the new issues of Tone Poets and the classic series that they put out now. I think 3 years
Right.
going strong.
Yes, yes. I've
And
had
these
to.
are
Yeah,
original.
I would do the same, but it's pretty expensive,
Yeah, it is.
to
I
get
I
them all.
I when it comes to the classic series, I don't buy the Tone Poets full price. I don't do that
Mhm,
because I don't
mhm,
think it's worth it.
mhm.
It's worth it, but I don't want to put the money
Yeah,
into
that's a lot of money just for one record all the
for
damn
one
time.
record. Yeah, but
Yeah.
the classic series, when I started buying them, they were like $25 or something like that.
Hmm.
Now it's gone up in price. Now it's like 32, 33, something like that.
Well, you're
But
ahead of
there,
me. It's $43.
oh shit. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
okay.
in Omaha, $43 on average for a
Ah,
tone poet. That's some bullshit.
yeah, that's some bullshit. Yeah, yeah. The prices have gone. Yeah. It starts not being fun anymore. No, I shouldn't say that. It's not fun buying new records. I
Mhm.
feel even a stronger bond to original pressings, because
Yeah,
it
yeah.
feels like with the new sort of generation coming in here, or the new vinyl community coming in, uh, buying reissues and just new records
Mhm.
put out today. The field or the space for the original pressings or early pressings and stuff like that, they do move. They don't go up in price in that in the same way. I think so. Yeah, I don't
Mhm.
know. I don't know, but yeah, that's my Blue Note. I feel like the classic series. I sort of I don't have any subscriptions to magazines or stuff like that. So
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm telling myself like I'll buy one of those per month.
Mhm.
So it's like a
Nice.
subscription, like
Here you go.
the ones I don't
Yeah,
have. So,
here you go.
um, but other than that, it's Swedish prog. That's my jazz, and here's prog. or rock and pop. And upstairs is psych and prog.
Oh, interesting. So it's yeah. I used to do that, but it's just alphabetical for the longest in my collection.
Yeah, that's actually one of my questions. Do you store them like alphabetically and not categorized in different genres? It's just alphabetically.
I used to. And when I moved to this house, which has been 30 years now almost, I think I basically switched to alphabetical. And there's two parts to it, alphabetical by artist's last name.
Yep.
The only exceptions is I have a classical section, and I have a compilation section where it's various artists. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a plus and a minus at this point for me, Jonas, because I do forget what I have.
Yeah.
And so I'll be over here and say, oh, I forgot I had that,
That's nice. But that also brings me to a question. Do you catalog your records in any shape or form? Do you have a Discogs where you have every
I'm on Discogs. I don't, like tell people, how to find me on Discogs. You can find me, but I do use it. Most of my collection is on Discogs. Do you use it like that?
Yeah, I use it. I put everything up when I had like maybe 800, 1,000 records, stuff like that. It's pretty early. And I have this routine. And that's also, I think, why I'm still at YouTube, because I have this routine. Like if I buy a record, I clean the record, I get the new sleeves and stuff like that. Then I play the record. When I play the record, I log it on Discogs. So
I try to do some
part of the routine.
Yeah, I try to do something similar to that. What I found is that I'm actually buying records sometimes before they're listed on Discogs.
Oh, yeah, that's right. A problem, yeah.
But yeah, I've got most of but I keep finding where I thought I had everything listed, and I'll look and it's like, oh, it's not in there. I'm up to about over 16,000.
Oh, shit, 16,000?
Yeah, 16,000 titles, yeah. Well, in my whole house, see, if you saw my house, Jonas, including the kitchen,
there's records in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome. Man, I'm married. If I weren't married, I would have records in the kitchen.
Yeah, the wife. Yeah, ain't no woman gonna be having no records in the damn kitchen.
I don't think so. Shit. But do you? I don't see you as a collector that sells much of your collection.
No, I used to. I do a bit of trading now.
Okay. Yeah.
As you may have caught, 2 years ago, my younger brother passed away.
Yep. Yes.
And when all that happened, my oldest nephew came in town on business, but it worked out that he was here at that time to just kind of help me with the grieving process. And he is unlike me, he's very pragmatic, and he's into banking and business. And so while he was here, we did a couple things. I incorporated myself and started my own publishing company, but I also made out a legal will. And so I'm leaving all my records to my nephews. I don't want to sell any of this. It's like you, it is a living collection. And I do find things like, okay, it's time for that to go. And then there's other times when it's like, I'll think I still have something and it's gone. And it's like, oh, I wish it was here.
Yeah.
But ultimately, beyond it being me living with it and enjoying it, I don't want to ever hopefully have to sell this out of need.
No.
I've already made the will. I'm leaving it to my kids, my nephews.
That's awesome. That was my last question. Like on all of the questions, my last question was because you're not married. I don't think you have kids per se.
Not my own blood. David and Sarah I helped to raise. This was their room for a while.
Oh.
Yeah, David and Sarah when they were little. They're in their 30s now. And so that's a whole nother story that started because of music. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But yeah, so for a while I thought that I would include them. Now they don't mind hearing this if they were to see this, but I decided after a while that blood is the connection for this.
Yes.
Because my kids that I raised, like your daughter, they didn't give a shit about my records. You know what I
No.
mean?
No. Yeah.
Not at all.
I'm telling. I said that to my daughter also, but she's 8. But I said that as long as you don't have an interest for the records, you don't get it. You like I'm giving it away to someone else.
Right.
And she's like, oh, that don't matter. But
right.
Yeah.
So my son never came around. My son never came around, but Sarah, and she likes for me to call her my daughter. My daughter Sarah. We share. She likes goth and she likes Tool and stuff like that. So we share a little bit of music.
Yeah.
Now.
Tool is awesome.
Yeah,
I don't go to many concerts. I barely have time to sit home and listen to the records I have here, but I've actually seen Tool two times in Sweden. So
nice.
Some of the best concerts I've been to.
Yeah.
And you had I remember it as when you told it that you had a sort of a dark period, or the dark days where you went into sort of something of a religion, and you sold some of your records. So a
lot of records, lot. I sold thousands.
Do you mind talking about it? What was
no,
it?
I don't. What would you like to know?
Yeah, what would you like to know? What kind of religious group was it, and what records did you think back then were like evil?
Okay, so the best that I can, explain it is that I come from a religious family.
Yeah.
My grandfather was a Baptist minister, so that was a big part of my childhood. Okay, I actually helped him to write one of his Sunday sermons at 9 years old. Already pretty fluent in the Bible. Okay. So, but growing up as a teen, being intoxicated by music and also youth culture, the music swept me in. There was always this question of what the church's message was regarding music that I was wrestling with. Okay.
Yeah.
And it was, best that I can recollect, it's in my early 20s, Jonas, when I had this almost like a schizophrenic break in a way. And I think it had to do with drugs as well. I was doing multi-drugs, not just smoking pot. I was doing cocaine, LSD, crystal meth. I mean, I was messing with a lot of stuff, and I was playing in a lot of bands, and it's kind of getting lost, and so I was exploring everything like I do. And so this was a period when I was checking out industrial music, Throbbing Gristle, White House, and that sort of thing. And as I was examining some of the things that the music was bringing up in me, I didn't like it, But at the time, because of my background, I immediately associated with this whole religious dogmatic thing, And so like, oh, White House, I got to get rid of that. Oh, that's bringing up this darkness in me and shit. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Literally. But it got to the point where it's like, I sold stuff that I regret, like Joy Division. It's like, that wasn't dark, but that got, see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
It went into that. And it's like, and then it's like, it's weird, but it's kind of like I came out of the fog, literally,
Yeah.
Like I sold my first part of my residence. Like I had some rare residence, matter of fact, I sold it to Buck Naked. And he kept saying, "Are you sure, Dereck, you want to sell this? Are you sure?" And he was right. I wasn't sure,
Oh.
And consequently, what I sold to him, he ended up getting murdered.
Oh,
okay. Gone. Yeah, they're gone. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. So I'm glad you asked. Yeah.
I've been thinking of it like since for many years, like how that must have been, and also thinking about it or going back to it today, thinking about that period, like because it's been some years, I guess, since you were 20.
Yeah, decades ago, and so that whole experience, it shades my life. It's why I am not into dogma of any sort. It's like there's spirituality, religions, all of them have something to offer, but I don't need someone telling me what to think, you know.
Yeah.
Not at all.
I think that's a healthy way of living.
Yeah, I'm so glad I came out of it. So glad I came out of it, you know.
Shit, yeah. Let's see here.
What's the last record you just bought? What's the last record you bought?
The last record I bought is actually a super rare Swedish prog record called Pantarei. I've been looking for that.
You got that one? Is it the one with the guy that's nude on the front?
Yeah, with the cigarette.
Damn.
Yeah, I know. Shit.
You're killing
I've been
me.
looking for that for so long, and I had to pay up. Like, but with this collection that I bought, I've sold some stuff to really be able to also. I mean, there's you don't feel sorry for me because of the stuff that I found. It's enough for several years when it comes to sort of rarity and value and stuff like that. And even with this collection, I sold some stuff, and even then I bought a rare record. So it's but yeah, that's the last one I bought. I got it today.
Never see. I mean, I rarely see stuff like that in these parts.
Yeah,
awesome.
I remember you talked about. I pulled this because I was when you talked about when we started to when I started watching you and we started to interact, and you talked about Bo Hansson and the record and
that's an
also
original.
the later ones that he had. I was just blown away that a person in Omaha, Nebraska knew about this Swedish music and was so into it. And so yeah, that was awesome. Do you still listen to?
Oh my goodness, he's one of my favorites of all time. Oh, you know,
this is, I don't know if you know about this.
Yeah, Bo Hansson definitely lifts my mood anytime I put it on, or it just transports me. I love his music.
Just 2 seconds. Yeah, you have to dance or something to the audience.
Yeah, I want to find the Hanson Carlson records. I still haven't come across those.
I have a new reissue that I want to show you.
Okay.
Shit, where is it? Come on.
See, that happens to me too when I want to show people stuff. It's like you can't even find it. Just keep looking. That's cool.
Don't think I've stored it.
It's probably you probably are flipping right past it. It's right there.
Probably, but it's a new reissue from a guy that I just did an interview or released an interview with, Stefan Dimle. He has a record label called Melotronen, and it's actually Bo Hansson's last date with Fläsket brinner. From 1972 in Sweden. And that sounds cool. Fire. Like, I've never heard Bo Hansson play like that. He's on fire, like he's playing for his life.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Amazing. Now, you have a real Fläsket brinner too, don't you?
What?
Fläsket brinner, you have an original of that, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, because I've never seen an original of that. Never seen one.
It's I have both actually. I have Fläsket brinner and the second one. I'm starting to get a pretty good Swedish prog collection.
Yeah, those were on my want list forever.
Yeah. I had a conversation with Janne Schaffer, the guitar player.
Yeah.
And I showed him records that he is on, and he was like super envious because he is getting into vinyl again, but he doesn't have his own records.
Yeah, that's
the Ablution record was one that he was like, oh shit, do you have that? And
yeah, see, I would love to find the Ablution album, and that's really not that uncommon that artists don't have all their records.
Yeah, no, I bet.
Yeah, not that uncommon.
I guess that, I mean, it's been some years since they released it, and a lot of shit has happened, I guess, during those years. So he's probably giving them away or something.
Yeah, things happen, you know.
Let's I'm gonna set you free. It feels like I've taken too much of your time.
This has been great, Jonas. Yeah, I'm glad because it's about time to go to the little boy's room
Yeah.
But I'm good. I'm good. So we can just wrap this up. We can just go ahead.
I thought of like showing this as a
Yes.
last thing. You have produced your own music and
Yes.
records, and this is the first one that I bought from you back in the day, 2012. Was this the first one that you produced as a solo musician in modern times? Let's say that.
Yes. Yes. This was the first album that the vinyl community helped me to produce. Which number do you have? And is that red or black?
I don't know. It's 12 or 72. I don't know. I can't read your handwriting, Derek.
So that's a red one, and there's only 81 copies of that in the world.
Okay.
And even though it's still not something that is pricey, it is a collector's item, yes. And as time goes on, that will become more collectible.
Yeah.
There you go. You got one of the inserts, because not all of them, I didn't put an insert on all of the records.
Okay.
I'm still very proud of that.
I still enjoy it very much. I have this and the InDREAMA record that you released also. So those two. It's hard. It's shipping and stuff. I won't.
No problem. Well, no, I have some new vinyl. I have new vinyl coming out. Thankfully, my band RAF. We just got the test pressing finally.
Ah, shit! That's cool.
Yeah, I've been working on this for a while. You know, trying to get this done. So, test pressings are good. I haven't got the word when the actual records drop. I'm in a band called the David Nance Band, and he's not talking about it, but he got a deal with a record label that I'm really happy about. It's coming out in July, but I don't feel like I can tell you what the label is. But when I tell it, it's like it's going to be kind of a. I think it'll be news. You know,
that's awesome.
I'm excited about it. I'm working on. It'll be a CD release, but I've been talking about the music I've been talking about with the trumpet player and the guitarist.
Yep.
Wrapping that up. I feel strongly that once I get that out as a CD, I could probably get someone to pick it up on vinyl. Plus my next solo record, which I haven't set into motion production-wise, but I have an agreement with the FPE Records in Chicago. They want to put out my next solo album, and it's, you know, on schedule to try to get it going this year.
So a busy 2023, I guess.
Yes, and involved with, you know, the band The Muffins, right?
Yeah, yes.
So I'm involved with Dave Newhouse on an ongoing basis. I'm on his latest Mana Mirage CD.
Yep.
And it's just become a really good friend, you know.
That's
awesome. That's an ongoing thing.
Huh.
Someone else I want to mention this is that Jonas Bjerre from the band Mew.
Yeah. Yes.
Very good friend of mine.
I heard you talk about him a lot on your channel. I love Mew. They're awesome band. I've never seen them live, but
yeah, he's got this new thing called Takis. I don't know if Mew is done or not, but this is something that is in my discography, Telefono.
Okay.
It's like a 545 box set where each person involved through the internet or whatever, we like playing telephone. You know, someone sends a message and then you add it. So on here, besides me, Jonas Bjerre is on here. Tim Kasher from Cursive is involved. Jason Lowenstein from, was it Sebadoh, I think?
Okay.
He was in Dinosaur Jr.
Ah, okay.
He's on here along with me. The guy that started the band, American Football. So this is limited edition of 250. And I just thought I'd show, this is probably one of the rarer things that I'm on. Might be kind of hard to find, but thought I'd show it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I don't have everything that I play on.
No, okay.
Yeah, there's a thing that I played on in Germany and it came out on CD, and I kept saying, where's my copy? I still haven't gotten a copy.
Oh, shit. Maybe someday.
Maybe.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dereck, for taking the time.
Oh, thank you, Jonas. This has been awesome.
Yeah, I think so too. So great conversation. I don't know when I'm gonna put. I think it's gonna take 1 or 2 months before I'm putting it out. If that's okay with you, I have some.
No, that's fine. I'll just let people know that we've done this, and in the near future, you'll get to see it.
And I'll write to you when I have it when it's coming out. So
excellent.
So, thank you so much, and have a great day.
You too. Take care, Jonas.
Bye.
Bye-bye.